everyone, hope you all enjoyed that little water-cooled maintenance montage. I know there were parts of it I definitely didn't enjoy. Probably draining the system was the worst part, and it took longer than cleaning both the CPU block and the GPU block. So you guys are probably wondering why on such a new system that I did a full water-cooled maintenance treatment on this system. So that water-cooled build I believe has been together and running for about 5 months now, and it's done really well. I haven't noticed any changes in performance as far as the temperatures go. I just started to notice that when I would look at the system, I noticed my pastel fluid started to become a little bit opaque where I could see through it. I started to be able to see the EK logo inside the reservoir. So I knew it was kind of starting to lose its opacity. So usually when you notice signs like that, that's a pretty strong indication that your fluid's starting to fall out. And instead of being the solution that you put in your water-cooled loop, it's starting to become the form of a mixture a little bit more, where the parts of the mix that you put in is starting to separate. So it's probably something that I could have left alone and ran a lot longer, but seeing the white residue all throughout the system, I really wanted to get the fluid changed out and just make sure the blocks were okay. As you guys probably saw in the video, there was a white powdery residue kind of all throughout the loop. You could see it in the tubes, but where it really got bad was in the GPU block. It looked like a lot of that stuff kind of settled in there, and I didn't want to wait too long before it started to clog it. So that segued us into draining the system completely. As you guys saw in the video, I kind of went back and forth between draining it and flushing it, but I went ahead and drained the whole thing. That was the worst part of the maintenance process for sure. And I tried to set up my loop to where it would be easy to service, but I think the problem I ran into is I don't have any air or openings up high in the loop to where air can push down naturally and get the fluid running downwards. I do have the drain valve, as you guys can see, that is in the lowest point of the loop, so that helped us out a little bit. So once I got the loop drained, I could finally start taking everything out of the system and kind of work on the pieces individually. But cleaning the blocks really wasn't bad at all. As you can see, it was pretty simple. All I did was, for our graphics card, I took the block off of the PCB and then separated the acrylic from the actual block. So as far as what I used to clean the blocks, in that little squirt bottle, it was nothing special. That was just distilled water. So I would wet down the blocks with that a little bit. Then I would take a toothbrush and then just scrub it a little bit to kind of work the distilled water into certain areas. Then once everything was kind of wet, I would go ahead and use Crest 3D White. So we just use some toothpaste to scrub it and really get in there and clean it and remove any sort of residue that we had in the block or in the fins. This wasn't a method obviously made by me. I saw Jay's 2 Cents do this before. I believe I saw it too on Paul's Hardware. So the toothpaste method is pretty well known when it comes to the water-cooled PC community, and it seems to work pretty well. As you can see, the blocks got pretty clean once I did that. So once I scrubbed it with the Crest 3D White, then I just rinsed it back down with the distilled water and just lightly dried it with a paper towel. I took a little bit different approach to cleaning the acrylic. That's something that I probably wouldn't recommend scrubbing with the Crest 3D White and a toothbrush, as acrylic can be scratched. So all I ended up doing was taking a damp paper towel and basically just wiping it and drying it. So it cleaned it up pretty nicely and it kept it safe too. So overall, cleaning the blocks was pretty easy and straightforward, and I think it went pretty well. The blocks look pretty clean. The only thing is they won't look as good as when you first get them, of course. And even when you first get them, you will have certain marks on the acrylic just from the machining process. So they're never going to look perfect. So it ended up being really perfect timing with my ITX build, as you guys can see right back there, getting finished. And then that kind of gave me a moment to redirect my attention towards the water-cooled build and kind of tend to some of those issues I was having with the fluid. So in this video, like you saw, we were able to strip down everything, clean everything, and that's going to lead us into the rebuild and I've actually decided to relocate that hardware into a different case, so we are going to be redoing this build. I got something a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to work in, and I'm going to try to locate things to where the maintenance process is much easier and the drainage is much easier. I'm also going to be going with a clear fluid this time. I'm not sure if I'll add any dyes to it, but I'm trying to keep the rebuild simple as possible to where we don't have to do much maintenance on it. And when maintenance does occur, it's much easier. So keep an eye out, as I will have some videos on the rebuild coming up very soon. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Thanks for watching as always. Hopefully you guys got some takeaways from it, such as how to maintenance your water-cooled loop, how to take apart the blocks. If you all enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more tech related videos, especially involving PC hardware, make sure to give us a subscribe. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.